friends, so in our previous video we learned about just the basic shapes and what makes up those shapes. But right now we're going to learn about how to make shapes out of like extended shapes. So as you can see, I have a square, a triangle, and a rectangle. So I have smaller pieces of those that we can teach your child how to utilize. So kind of breaking shapes apart and figuring out, there's also mathematical concepts that go with this as well. So as you can see, we have a big square here. So one way that we can teach your child is we have two rectangles. So if you have some of these pieces at home, you can ask your child, well, what do you think we could do with these two rectangles? Or what do you think we could use to fill in the square? So there's a couple different approaches that you could do. So with the square, you can show your child that two rectangles make up a square, okay? Then you can also take those apart, and you can also show your child that this big square can be broken down into smaller pieces, that it takes 1, 2, 3, 4 medium-sized squares to make one large square. So kind of breaking that down, but this is also a kindergarten readiness skill of being able to work on fractions and breaking down bigger pieces into smaller pieces. So that's one way you can do that as well. Another thing is we have a small rectangle. So I have some smaller pieces here. I have some smaller triangles, I have smaller squares, and I also have kind of these odd looking triangles. So we always want to ask our children, you know, what do you think, what can we do with this? Because we want to know if they're really thinking abstract. So, you know, some of them may say, well, a square, okay? Well, why would we use squares? Because it doesn't have any curves, so we're not going to use a circle. So we can show our child that we can take 1, 2 small squares to make up a small rectangle. So just kind of breaking that apart. And something else that you can also do is maybe draw a line in the middle of this, maybe with like a black marker, so they can see the differentiation and the breaking apart of those pieces. Another thing that you could do with a square is possibly with a rectangle, you could take like a piece of tape or something and put it in the middle to show two pieces. And then another thing you could do is do another one across the middle, a horizontal and a vertical, to show that there are 4 pieces that make up that. So it seems a little bit over their head, but they can most certainly do it. Another thing that we can show students is the circle. So we have a circle here. Let me get my piece. So we have a circle here. So what we can do is we can show, okay, we have a large circle. So what can we do to break that into pieces? And I always talk about maybe a cookie or a pizza that's relevant. So when you cook a pizza, you're going to cut it into pieces to feed everybody. So what you can do is you can take one piece and then you could ask them, how many more pieces would we need? So if we did every piece like this, we could do 1, 2, so that's half of the circle. So two pieces make up half. So how many more pieces would we need to fill up the whole circle? We would need 2 more pieces. So you can do that. And you could also say, well, if I took one part of the pizza, how many pieces would be left? So if I take my part of the pizza, I've got 3 pieces left. So, you know, that's also a kindergarten readiness skills, being able to understand fractions. So I hope that that makes sense, and I hope that your child enjoys it. It's a really more abstract way to think about math in its more complex forms.